first recipe is our scrambled egg cups. Now for this recipe you need 1 cup of cheese, 12 eggs or a dozen eggs, and 1 cup of ham. Now I didn't have ham, so I had to use sausage, which works out just fine. It's all pre-cooked, ready to go. And then a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now you're going to crack all 12 eggs into the bowl, whisk them all together. Then you're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper on top, and then go ahead and add your ham or your sausage, mix it up a little bit, and you're ready to go. Now I'm using a 1/4 measuring cup to just dump it right into a mini muffin pan. Next, go ahead and just sprinkle your favorite cheese on top. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Put the muffin tin right into it. You're going to cook this for about 20 minutes. When it's all done, they'll be a little bit poofy, which I like that word, poofy. Then you can just pull them out and cut them up, and they are ready to go for breakfast. So here's what you need. You need 2 tablespoons of normal yogurt. Then I like to add sweetened condensed milk, so I'm adding 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. You don't have to add this. You can just do yogurt and milk if you want, but it gives it a little more flavor. Then we're using Fairlife whole extra filtered milk. The extra filtered is very important, and this is a 1/2 gallon. Then you need an Instant Pot that has a yogurt function. And that's it. That's all you need for this recipe. So first I'm going to pour a little bit of milk in, maybe about a 1/2 cup of milk, and then I'm going to put my sweetened condensed milk right on top of it. Now you want to get a whisk and you want to mix this in really well. It's really thick, so the better you whisk, the better it will be. So once it's all mixed in, it's time to add the rest of your milk. So go ahead and just pour it all in. Next you're going to add 2 tablespoons of just normal yogurt. It's the plain kind. It's not vanilla, it's no flavors, just the plain yogurt, and 2 tablespoons. Alright, those are all your ingredients. Now it's just time to whisk it all together. Now you want to make sure you get the yogurt chunks, because you don't want big chunks in your yogurt while it cooks. You want it completely smooth. Now you can put your Instant Pot lid on it, take the sealing lid off, or I just put a plate on top of my Instant Pot. So now you're going to push the yogurt button. You want to make sure that when you push the yogurt button, you want normal. You don't want less, you don't want more, you just want normal pressure. You want this to cook for the 8 hours. So if the 8 hours shows up on your Instant Pot, you are correct. Then it will actually start counting up instead of counting down when using the yogurt function. Now when it's all done, it will say yogurt. That means it's time to take your plate or lid off and see how it is. Now this is still really hot, but I just want to show you the texture of it. This is thick and creamy and perfect. So I'm going to put a paper towel on top, and then just any type of lid or saran wrap or anything like that so it can store in your fridge. Now I stored mine overnight, and in the morning I woke up, I actually had to flip my lid so it would fit in the fridge, but took off my paper towel so it can get all of the moisture, and it is perfectly cold, delicious yogurt. Now right now this yogurt is really thick, but the more that you play with it and stir it around, it will break up the proteins and it will be able to be a lot more smooth. Today I'm just serving mine with a little bit of granola and a few blueberries on top. I like to use the fresh blueberries, but if I run out, then I like to use frozen. Our next 3-ingredient main dish is Dr. Pepper pulled pork. You need 12 ounces of Dr. Pepper, a jar of your favorite barbecue sauce, and a 3-pound pork roast. And just a little salt and pepper to taste. Go ahead and put your roast in the bottom of an Instant Pot. You're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper on top just to give it a little bit of flavoring. Then on top of that, you're going to add 12 ounces of Dr. Pepper. I'm kind of just eyeballing it because you don't have to get it exact. You just need somewhere around a can or 12 ounces. And go ahead and dump on a whole jar of your favorite barbecue sauce. Go ahead and put the lid on. Make sure that the lid is on nice and secure. If you have a little knob, make sure you turn it to sealing. And I am going to cook this for about 1 hour and 30 minutes because it is so big and a little frozen inside. Yes, we want to make sure it's cooked. When it's all done cooking, you can release the pressure and go ahead and take the lid off. Now you can serve this on buns or even on top of salad. However you like to serve it, it's going to taste amazing. Now the side dish for this one is our 3-ingredient avocado salad. I love this because you just need 2 avocados, a little bit of little tomatoes, and then a jar of artichokes. Go ahead and chop up your tomatoes. I like to make them into small bite-sized pieces. Then go ahead and dump those into your serving bowl. Next, we're going to cut up the avocados. I also like to cut these into small bite-sized pieces because you don't want a huge bite of avocado and nothing else. Next, we're going to chop up some artichokes, depending on how many you like. This is a large jar of artichokes. I'm cutting up about half of them. Now for a little bit more flavor, I like to add a little bit of the liquid that artichokes were sitting in and then just mix it up. This recipe is my go-to side dish. The next recipe I'm making is Instant Pot ribs. Now don't be intimidated by these, they really are so easy. So first I'm going to add a lot of salt on top of my ribs and then a little bit of pepper. Next you're going to grab some apple juice and pour about 1 cup to 1.5 cups into your pot. Now this is your liquid, so you'll be able to get the pressure. Now my Instant Pot is a 6-quart and the ribs I'm using are beef ribs, so they're actually a lot bigger. But if you're using pork ribs, you can put them in your Instant Pot just like this in any size of Instant Pot. But because my ribs are so big, they don't fit that way, so I'm going to show you how I put them in. So first you're just going to cut them right down the middle. Try not to cut the bone and try and make the meat as even on both sides if you can. As soon as you're done cutting them, you're going to put them inside the Instant Pot, one on top of the other. Then put on your lid, make sure you seal it tight, and always make sure it's on sealing so it'll work. Then you're going to press your meat stew button and go all the way down to 25. Now I let this recipe do a slow release, meaning I let it release on its own. So now I'm just going to check, yep, there's no pressure, so I'm going to open it up. And the smell of these things are amazing. So I'm going to take some tongs, pull them out, and put them on a lined cookie sheet. I lined it with foil, so my cleanup is going to be a breeze. Before your Instant Pot is done cooking, go ahead and preheat your oven to broil. So it'll be about 550 degrees or broil. Now before we broil these, we're going to spread some barbecue sauce on them so they'll be caramelized, I guess, in barbecue sauce. So I just did a few squirts of barbecue sauce. You can use any kind of barbecue sauce you like, and then I just spread it around so it will be pretty even on each rib. Then when you're done, stick them in the broiler for about 2 to 4 minutes. You need to watch it so it doesn't burn your ribs. Now instead of just dumping this applesauce, I'm going to put some potatoes in it because I'm going to have mashed potatoes with my ribs. This is totally optional, but I'm all about easy side dishes. When you have your potatoes in, you're just going to turn it, make sure it's sealed, then you'll push manual. You're going to go up to 15 minutes. While those are cooking, my ribs are done and they look amazing. And the side dish for this recipe is my Instant Pot corn. Next, we're going to jump right into the corn. Now I have a slow cooker recipe for this, but today I'm making it right into the Instant Pot. Now if you've never made corn in the Instant Pot, now's the time to do it. You don't have to watch it, you don't have to wait for it. So I took 1 cup of water and I threw 4 ears of corn on. You could add probably 1 more in a 6-quart Instant Pot. Now if you're using a 3-quart one, go ahead and split the corn in half. If you're using an 8-quart, you can add more corn if you want. Alright, we're going to close the lid and put it on sealing. And now for my favorite part, because it really doesn't take a lot of time, I'm going to push manual and go all the way down to 5 minutes. Now once it's done, I do a quick release so I can eat my corn faster. But if you do need to wait a little bit, it is fine just to sit in the Instant Pot until dinner is ready. So I take my lid off and my corn is perfectly done. The next main dish is barbecue salmon. You're first going to start by lining a pan or cookie sheet with foil. It makes it a whole lot easier to clean up. Then you're going to add your salmon onto the foil, skin side down. Add a little bit of salt and pepper onto your salmon and let it sit there for about 10 minutes or so. Next, you're going to pour on your favorite barbecue sauce. Then make sure you spread it around so it's covering the salmon pretty evenly. Now you're going to take your salmon, make sure your oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and you're going to cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes depending on how thick your salmon is. When it's done, it will smell amazing and the barbecue sauce will be like a delicious glaze on top. Now just a quick note, I would suggest getting fresh salmon from the deli, not frozen. Frozen just does not taste very good. I'll just be honest with you. Now the side dish to go along with the salmon is our honey roasted carrots. You're going to need some olive oil, carrots, obviously, a little bit of salt and pepper, and some honey. Now I love to use these bagged carrots because I usually mix everything in this bag, but my 3-year-old got to it first and got a little whole, so now I'm going to mix it all together in a Ziploc bag for you. Next you're going to pour about 3 tablespoons of olive oil onto your carrots. Go ahead and zip up the bag with a little bit of air, but not a ton of air, and you're going to mix that olive oil around so it will cover every single carrot. Then go ahead and dump your carrots onto a cookie sheet. Now I usually like to take that same bag and kind of just spread them around. You don't want carrots on top of each other when they cook. Next you're going to add about a teaspoon or so of salt, just spreading it all along the carrots evenly. You're going to do the same with pepper. If you don't love pepper, you don't have to add it, but I love pepper with these carrots. Next you're going to drizzle about 3 tablespoons or so of honey right onto your carrots. You just want to make sure every carrot gets a little bit of honey. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and bake those at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until your carrots are the texture that you like them. I like them very cooked, so I go about 30 minutes every time. Now I like to add just a little bit more honey on top right before I serve them, just to get that little added sweetness. It's my favorite. Now make sure you serve these nice and hot because they are so good that way. Now the next main dish is our easy club chicken. So you're going to need a box of club crackers, about a half a cup of butter, a little package of zesty Italian seasoning, and then of course chicken. You're first going to take your butter and microwave it in a microwave safe dish until it's completely melted. While that's melting, go ahead and crush up your crackers into little tiny crumbs. You will want about 1.5 cups of those. Next we're going to add our Italian seasoning dressing packet right on top of the crumbs. And just mix those all together until it's well combined. So now that the butter is melted, you're going to put your chicken into the butter, kind of, make sure the butter is all around the chicken, and then put the chicken into, of course, the seasoning, the crumbs and the Italian seasoning. Make sure it's all covered, ready to go, and then you can place that right onto the cookie sheet. Then you're just going to continue those steps until all of the chicken is gone and you've used all of the breadcrumbs and the butter. If you need a little bit more butter, go ahead and melt some more. Alright, now it's time to cook. You're going to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. We're going to cook it for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how thick your chicken breasts are. Now halfway through you can flip those over, it's totally up to you. And there you have it, easy club chicken. Now to go with this recipe is our 3-ingredient Parmesan rolls. For this recipe you need 12 frozen dinner rolls, a half a cup of butter, I like salted butter, and then 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now I microwaved my butter in a microwave safe bowl, and we're going to dip the frozen roll, it's totally frozen, into the butter. Mix it around a little bit, then you're going to go straight into the Parmesan. Mix it. If you need to press Parmesan onto it, you can. Then you're going to put it into a 9x13 pan that has been sprayed with non-stick cooking spray. Now you're just going to continue this step until all 12 rolls are onto your pan. Now these rolls need to rise, so we're going to cover them with saran wrap and put them in a warm place. I like to put them kind of in the sun or just a spot where it's going to be warm so they will rise a little faster. Now once they are doubled in size, go ahead and put them in the oven. You're going to cook them at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes or until they are golden brown on top. I like to serve this with just a little bit of butter, and it's the perfect side dish.